And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry.
Bill Maher is not one to shy away from controversy, and his latest target? Whoopi Goldberg. Known for his no-holds-barred takes on politics, culture, and the media, Bill has been on a mission to dismantle the woke agenda for years. But this time, his aim is dead center on Whoopi, and let's face it, she kind of made it easy for him. Over the past few years, Whoopi has been on a roller coaster of controversies, each more eyebrow-raising than the last. And Bill? Well, he's been sitting back, watching the spectacle unfold, and now he's ready to unload his most cutting critique yet. But what exactly did Whoopi say this time?
We have got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
And how did Bill Maher respond with the perfect mix of humor and intellect that only he can pull off? Stick around, because this one is about to get really interesting. The story began with Whoopi making a comment about Black Americans and their struggles. But as usual, Bill wasn't about to let that fly without calling it out. Bill took a step back and made a point that seems so simple, it almost feels revolutionary. Black Americans, like everyone else, just want better jobs, lower prices, and safer neighborhoods. It's not about some complicated, idealistic ideology.
Want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
It's about tangible, real-world issues that affect everyday people. But Whoopi, who's constantly been a voice for what's considered woke, took things in a totally different direction. She pulled out an old card from the progressive playbook, advocating for more focus on reform and protection of the powerful, rather than actually listening to the people who are suffering. Bill wasn't having it. He wasn't just going to let her divert attention from the core issues. His response was quick, sharp, and as only Bill can do, brutally honest. Bill Maher didn't waste a second. As he often does, he broke down the absurdity of Whoopi's statements with precision, saying something like,
Let's tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Let's tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. But sure, let's keep pushing these ridiculous ideas. It was a perfect slam, highlighting how the woke agenda's obsession with symbols and ideology often ignores real issues. His remark wasn't just a jab at Whoopi. It was a critique of the entire woke movement. The movement that spends more time patting itself on the back for symbolic gestures than actually solving problems for the working class. The kind of critique you might expect from Bill Maher.
All of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now.
Who's been vocal about how the left has become obsessed with virtue signaling, all the while ignoring the struggles of regular people. Now we know Whoopi doesn't back down easily. Instead of addressing the holes in her argument, she doubled down, bringing in yet another talking point that didn't really make sense. She started bringing up a former prosecutor, mind you, who supposedly had the perfect solution for the working class. Well, Bill wasn't buying it. A prosecutor who was supposedly in touch with the working class? Was she serious? Bill saw right through it, dismantling her argument piece by piece, and the audience was left watching her fumble for a defense.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed his...
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a
No,
sudden?
I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
What's wild here is that Whoopi's argument completely missed the mark on what's really important. Everyday Americans who are facing sky-high prices and a lack of job opportunities. Whoopi's focus, on the other hand, was drifting further and further into obscure policy proposals that no one could relate to. Bill made it crystal clear. Her focus was misplaced.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. Not even the President of the United States.
It wasn't about ideology or lofty plans. It was about real solutions that would impact people's lives. As the exchange heated up, Bill wasn't just critiquing Whoopi. He was exposing the hypocrisy within the woke agenda itself. It's easy for the privileged to sit back and push ideologies that sound good on paper but are utterly disconnected from reality. Whoopi, and many of her peers in the woke movement, love to lecture the world about fairness, equality, and justice. But they conveniently ignore the everyday struggles.
So I'm just gonna follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out.
They're
They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have to do that.
Of working-class Americans. Bill's retort wasn't just aimed at Whoopi personally. It was a broader critique of the double standards that have come to define the progressive agenda. Bill's point was simple but powerful. When it comes to real change, actions speak louder than words. And the actions of the woke elite? Well, they often leave a lot to be desired. Whether it's endorsing policies that hurt working-class people or defending those in power while condemning those who speak out against them.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to both.
The hypocrisy is glaring. Speaking of hypocrisy, let's talk about Hunter Biden. We all remember when Joe Biden famously said, "No one is above the law." But when it comes to Hunter, it seems like the law doesn't apply in the same way. Remember the whole scandal around Hunter's business dealings and the corruption allegations that surfaced before the 2020 election? Instead of a thorough investigation, the story was buried and the media basically played defense for the Biden family. Whoopi, of course, came to Hunter's defense, making the unbelievable claim that no one is above the law, except apparently when it's your own family members breaking the law. Bill Maher wasn't having any of it. He took a hard shot, calling her out for her blind defense of the Bidens, pointing to the glaring double standard at play. It's hard to ignore the fact that Hunter Biden walked away from serious charges, relatively unscathed, all because of his family's political influence. The whole situation reeks of corruption, but for Whoopi, it's business as usual.
Is it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
Bill's sharp critique didn't just expose the flaws in Whoopi's reasoning, it pointed to a broader issue. The elites get away with things the average person could never dream of. But Bill's most powerful move came when he went for the heart of the matter, the media's complicity in protecting the powerful. In a brilliant takedown, he called out how the mainstream media completely ignored the Hunter Biden scandal when it was inconvenient for the Democrats, and then acted as though everything was just fine. It wasn't just about Hunter, though.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
It was about the way the media and the political elite protect each other, sweeping scandals under the rug for the sake of their own interests. This was more than just a political point. It was a commentary on the way the system works. and how it's rigged for those who have the power to silence the truth. And Whoopi, in Bill's view, was just another cog in that machine, defending the status quo while ignoring the undeniable flaws in it. As the conversation progressed, Bill continued to hammer home one point. The woke movement is built on a weak foundation of ideology over reality. The woke crowd may love to claim moral superiority, but when you start digging beneath the surface, it's all just a house of cards. What are they really advocating for? More censorship? More ideological purity tests? More woke policies that only serve to divide people rather than unite them?
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey.
Bill's message was clear. The woke agenda has lost its way. What was once about creating a fairer, more just society has now morphed into a movement that thrives on canceling dissent, ignoring reality, and pandering to the rich and powerful. And Whoopi, sadly, has become one of its most vocal defenders. Bill's takedown wasn't just about exposing Whoopi for her missteps. It was a broader commentary on a society that has become obsessed with ideological purity and symbolism, often at the cost of real solutions. Whoopi may have once been a voice of reason, but now she's just another defender of a broken system that serves the few and ignores the many. Bill Maher, as always, isn't afraid to speak truth to power. His critique isn't about attacking individuals. It's about challenging the very system that has allowed these ideologies to thrive unchecked. And if we're being honest, it's time for the rest of us to wake up to the fact that the woke agenda isn't about progress. It's about control. So the next time Whoopi or any of her fellow woke warriors try to lecture the world about morality, fairness, or justice, remember this: they've completely lost the plot. The real questions that need to be asked are getting drowned out in a sea of performative activism and hollow rhetoric. Bill Maher has made it clear the woke mob may have once had a point, but now it's all about maintaining power, silencing anyone who disagrees, and defending the indefensible. And the real question is, how much longer are we going to let them get away with it?